So we are Agent Growth Hub here. So we're going to get started. So every Thursday, we're here 10 p.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern time. So some of it's morning, some it's afternoon, and really the purpose is to educate everybody here on a topic that, is important. And, I think we've come up with some good stuff every week. Ed Stroud, Rachel Novak are on here, and we also have Mike Novak are all part of the Agent Growth Hub. And we're really starting this new trend of trying to bring in some guest speakers because you guys don't want to just listen to us every week. And I think we have some incredible other people in our network that can help you in other areas that some of us can't. So today we're actually going to talk about the micro team within a team. And we have Rich Jenkins on here, who has been with me for over 5 years now. And, he's built an incredible business within the team. And, goal is to ask some questions of him. He's going to tell you a little bit of what he's doing. But I do want to, on this one specifically, I am going to leave a little time at the end to ensure that we have some time for you guys to ask questions as well, because I think we can only provide so much info without, knowing some of the questions you might have. So, Rich, I said you've been with us like 5 years. Tell us, a little bit about yourself, like how, kind of how much real estate business you're doing at this point.
Yeah, it's crazy to think 5 years too, because in my mind, I'm still like 3 years in. So this is my 6th year in the business, but it still feels like year 3. I don't know why. That number just sticks with me. Yeah, I've been with Jim. I'm an agent out in Massachusetts. I've been on Jim's team, like you said, 5 years. I have 3 kids, 7, 2, and 3 months old. I have a wife named Miranda. I try to golf when I can. Not very good, but I try. Snowboard.
No, he's not very good.
Yeah, try though. Yeah, and over those years, I've averaged selling 60 to 70 homes per year. The highest year being like 84 homes, the lowest being like 41. And that was like my first year in with Jim, and I had no AP that year, no agent partner. So that's what kind of brought us to bringing on an agent partner is I was running ragged. 40 homes by yourself is a lot, and having kids at home, you can run yourself pretty thin pretty quickly. So we kind of I would say collaborated. Eric Hatch kind of actually brought it up to us, like that was the whole model. I think Mike was doing it as well. So kind of just bled into our business of bringing somebody on. And it definitely helps me out a lot with like more time and leverage.
So, this agent partner, I know there's probably people on here that don't even know what that is. Like what exactly is that role?
Yeah, an agent partner, you can look at it a whole bunch of different ways. I look at it like a business partner, and that's how I frame it to my clients. Like, hey, I have a guy now, his name is Nick. Hey, this is Nick, my business partner. I don't want to say assistant or anything like that, because it's not a lesser than role. It's very equal, in my opinion. It's somebody to, it's 2 different things. It serves 2 purposes. Number 1 is to help me leverage my business, get more time, do more deals. And number 2, it's for that agent to really get their master's degree in real estate in 1 year. The average agent sells 10 to 13 homes, whatever the number is. So, they're selling 70 homes in a year. They're doing 7 years of real estate in 1 year. So they're really getting their master's degree. To me, it's like a paid internship. It's kind of how I look at it. But I always phrase it like my business partner is the biggest thing that I do.
Okay, and I know I gave you some questions I was going to ask, and I'm going to add some more in here just to mix it up for you. But I know, yeah. So it's you and Nick at this point. What are most of those things that Nick is doing and taking off your plate? Like, what is he doing to help you?
Yep. So right now he went to go do a smoke inspection in Fitchburg. So he meets the fire department. He makes sure the smokes pass, all of that. He's doing a home inspection right now. A lot of showings he does, appraisals. Picking up lock boxes. The biggest thing for me is showings, appraisals, smoke certs. That's a lot of very important tasks, but they're not dollar producing in a sense. You know what I mean? Even a home inspection, like I'm not going to change the outcome of the home inspection. The roof is the roof. The boiler is the boiler. I'm not going to say or do anything that's going to change it. I may say something that makes the buyers feel more comfortable, but Nick can do the same thing.
Nice. So mean, why would somebody choose to do that? Like to build that business within the business?
To build it or be like for me or for like Nick?
For you,
Okay.
why would you choose to do this?
Yeah, for me, it was more time. Like I said, I have three kids at home. I was pretty busy. I was pretty happy with the money I was making, but I wasn't really happy with the amount of time, I had. I remember there was one time I went on vacation or we went to a conference or something, and I had someone calling me and losing their mind on me, and I was like, I just can't do this. You know what I mean? I need help. I can't do it by myself. Um, so a lot of the leverage aspects of it for me.
So how easy has it been to let go of that stuff?
For me, not easy at all. I'm like I'm like a control freak when it comes to that, and like I like it how I like it. But it's also been very good to learn also that like my way isn't always the best way. You know what I mean? Somebody else could have a way that works perfectly fine and is going to get to the same goal. And just kind of seeing that stuff like unfold has helped me a lot. But it hasn't been easy for me to let go of certain things.
I ask that because I see it and I know it myself. I know I have to tell myself on a regular basis that done is better than perfect.
Yep.
And I mean, if you're going to build a business, like everything's not going to be perfect, or it's honestly not going to get done,
Yep.
truthfully.
Yep.
What are
But
some
it's
of the
more
biggest,
beneficial to let it go just to focus my energy in other areas.
so what has been some of the biggest challenges you've had? I mean, so you started on the team, say 5 years ago, and you didn't have a partner that first year, but then you had 4 more years where you've had partners, you've had multiple people. What what are some of the challenges you've had in those 4 years?
Some of the challenges would be letting go of certain things. You want people to do it and run with it and have confidence in it. And it's hard for someone to do that when I'm like hovering over them. You know what I mean? So that's been a challenge. I think we're pretty good at it now. There's obviously a lot of room for improvement still, but something I've learned. Another challenge has just been the wrong hire. You know what I mean? On my part, just personality clashes. You know what I mean? I know who I am as a person, and you really want to interview the right person for you. Because if you don't, like you could end up clashing, and that's not great when you're trying to run a business together.
Like somebody who's smoking weed all day, that type of stuff.
Yeah, like that doesn't work for me if you're showing up 15, 20 minutes late to a showing. It just doesn't, it just doesn't fly for me. Maybe for others, but
Well, and one thing I've noticed as people build these type of businesses is like your your specific needs may be different than what I have because I have somebody in a similar role, or Ed or Rachel, or different people will have these partners and they have really different needs. Like for you, like what when you're you've hired, was it one, two, you're on fourth person? Does that sound right? Four, right?
yep, this is my fourth partner. Yep.
Um, and through all of that, like what have you learned are the characteristics of somebody that like you want to have and maybe somebody that you don't want to have in that role?
Yeah, I like someone that's coachable. I like people that are doers. I like some people that show like some critical thinking, problem solving like that. And someone that's hungry, someone that wants to learn, someone that's open to other ideas. And I need someone that's also gonna like tell me no sometimes and put me in my place a little bit, like keep me in check, which is good. Nick does that very well now.
Okay.
So
Yeah,
he's like, buddy,
and I
slow
think
down
you,
a minute. All right, let's just calm down and let's do this. I tend to go very quick.
yeah, and
So,
I think sometimes it's good to have people that have slightly different personalities, but then in some ways
yeah,
have
it's pros and cons
similar.
too. You know what I mean? It's for me, I need someone that's kind of similar to me as a partner. I had someone that was pretty opposite of me, and we were together like 18 months, but it ended up not ending well. You know what I mean? Just because we were so different personalities, we would clash on certain things, and how I would want it done would be the opposite of how they wanted it done. So for me, I like to hire someone that's closer in line with like my personality.
When I think me looking at it, like I think the coachable, moldable was probably the biggest thing. Was
Yeah.
somebody who's willing to maybe change how they do things to accommodate the business model that's there.
Yeah.
That's definitely been a huge one. Like, what do you know? Don't have to go into like the specifics of it because I know again different people do this different ways. Like, what does a compensation model in general kind of look like for this type of role?
Yeah,
How
just
it
talking
works?
to people across the country, everyone does it a little differently. I've seen a straight salaried position with no commissions. I've seen a straight commissioned position with no salary. I kind of do a mixture of both. So I offer a base salary that's pretty low for the area. You know what I mean? It's like minimum wage, to be honest with you. But the intention is to not survive on the salary. The intention is to want to go and get more business and bring more in. And that's why we do the commission part of it as well. So we offer a base salary that's, guaranteed no matter what. Anytime agent partner brings somebody in, they get 25% of that deal and we work it together. It's if it's his sphere or self-generated from outbound dialing or anything like that, he gets a 25% referral from that. And they also have the expectation to bring in like 5 self-generated deals a year. So he brings in 5 self-generated deals, and on his sixth, or actually anything after that that he touches, he gets 5% of everything he does within the mini team. So he brings in 5 deals on his after that, like I bring in a deal and we work it together, he gets 5% of that going forward. So there's a lot of there's an incentive to make a good amount of money. You're getting 5% of 70 deals or whatever, called 60 because he misses a few at the beginning. You have an opportunity to make a good amount of money.
Yeah. So it sounds like, based on what they're putting into it, they could be making 40 grand or 100 grand a year in that same role.
Yeah, exactly. And the intention is to bring in 5 deals. So like you got to put some work in to get there.
So
I had
what is,
it too in the past where it was like the AP was supposed to bring in 10 deals and no one ever hit it. So I brought it down to 5 this year to make it a little bit more attainable.
yeah, well, sometimes it's hard in that role too, is the person that's going to stay in that role long term may not be as much a hunter as a helper.
Exactly.
Um, and then you have people that stay in the role for a shorter period of time that are more of a hunter.
Yeah.
So what's
I would
been
say,
kind of your experience with all that?
yeah, I would say it's good. It's actually a great self-discovery period for those partners as well. They can kind of figure out and see what goes into it, front to back, how many deals and what it looks like. And sometimes at the end of it, people go, you know what? I don't want to do what you do. I don't want to do all that stuff. I love, hey, Nick, hey, it's Tuesday. I got 3 showings. Awesome. How did those get there? I love talking to people. Let's go show them houses. People maybe realize that they like that. Or people may realize, you know what? I really want to generate my own business and run the show and do that, which is cool as well. It can be a launching pad in that term. You know what I mean? Which is kind of what a lot of the agents have done that I've partnered with. Is it's been like a launching pad for them to be solo agents.
Yeah, and I think as we've seen in our team, we've had people that are more of that launching pad person and people that are more of somebody who's going to stay in the role, and both have worked in their
Yeah.
own respective ways. So I know I've got somebody who wants to be the number two. She's used those words, and
Yeah.
that's a perfect environment for her.
Yeah, she's
And
gonna thrive in there. If that person wanted to go headhunt, they would burn themselves out and they would probably not enjoy doing this. So it's a great period to self-discover.
so
I was going to say, just to pitch in on that, because our team obviously has subscribed to this partner model for almost 5 years, and it's totally. I love the pathway of it and not keeping it so one tracked. So like you guys are talking about, like having that self-discovery process with each person that comes in and customizing their path a little bit, right? I've had a couple of partners. Mike's of course had a few partners as well. And my partner, we had an original timeline that she was going to be graduating onto the team as a team agent. And then we're having so much dang fun. We were like, well, let's just do it another year. Right. And so, but that really catapulted her business to be able to take off and sell 26 houses her first year as a solo agent. So, and there's also people on our team that have been in the partner role and plan to stay in the partner role for a while because they're in that season of life. So it's a beautiful thing to be able to customize it. And if you as kind of the agent bringing somebody in, just having that consistent conversation, like having a very consistent open dialogue with, how is this going? How is this partnership? Is this still in alignment with what your growth trajectory is what you were hoping for? And being able to accommodate that, I think it's a really special thing to be able to do.
Yeah. I think what Rachel said too, just the constant communication, and you don't want to check in every quarter. And then there's a lot of pent up feelings after 3 months. You really want to check in, do like a one-on-one every other week, and, just gauge how it's going and really hash anything out. Because people life, like Rachel said too, there's seasons of life, and that season of life of that person could change, and you don't want to be, you want to be in the know. You want to make sure that you can help them.
I think another thing that we've experienced on our team too is that having a small salary plus kind of a guaranteed commission opportunity, that it's been able to bring people into our business that we couldn't hire, like people that couldn't come into real estate unless they were given some guarantee. So that's been I think one of the biggest things, because we've brought several people onto our team. Most of the people that the majority of the people that are in that partner role had some piece of that they needed something guaranteed, and we were able to basically recruit people that were not recruitable into real estate.
Yep. Yeah, it's hard to jump in and say, all right, your next paycheck is, I don't know, 30 to 90 days from when you penned a deal, whenever that is. So this gives people a little bit more security, you know what I mean, coming from whatever they came from before.
So do you have any thoughts or comments, Ed? So
Well, the funny thing is, most of what you guys talked about is exactly the comments I would give. We've been doing it 5 years as well. I had to, from a team aspect, I would say this, that sometimes you got to show the model before other people will believe you. And so in our team, I had to be that person that stepped out on that ledge and said, look, my business has grown enough that I need to leverage. So I found on the first try, I found the right showing model, right showing partner, and he's still with me 5 years later. We call him an empire builder because he's really taken that whole thing off my ledge. And so I can go focus on other businesses, other things. And, but he still works with me on clients and does all that. But then what happened on our team is we had 2 other people then get showing partners over the last 2 years, and they've built their business, and they're hitting, one of my lead agents is hitting around 20 million in sales, which she pretty much doubled her business in that first year with showing partner. I'm seeing it down in Arkansas in one of our offices right now as well. So it's tough to make that leap. It's definitely tough for one of your agents to make that leap because they see it, but they don't know. And every one of my agents, I've had to say, let's do this together, and let's make this work together. The number one problem I see with other agents doing it is they're not willing to hold their people accountable. And so when you're spending money on a weekly, monthly basis, there has to be results on the other end. There has to be production on the other end. And what I find is most people aren't good managers, and they have to either learn how to be a good manager or fail. And if they don't learn, they're going to fail, and they're going to fail with a price tag on the other end. So if you're going to do it, you better set some ground rules up front of exactly what you're wanting, and you better communicate it up front exactly how you need it. And then you need to inspect what you expect. If not, things will get stale, and the next thing you know, you've spent 15 grand and got no results. So, and there's a lot of people right here in this group could help you really, really easily.
Yeah, the expectations is huge. You definitely want to lay out what it looks like, the day-to-day, even follow-up stuff like, what does you meet a new buyer? Like, what do you do? Just all that stuff. You just really got to lay out so there's no like room for, oh, I didn't know, or anything like that.
I think it
there's a lot of
forces you to,
shadowing. Oh,
yeah. I'm gonna say, yeah, like
we're
it
headed the
forces
same
you.
spot.
I think so. Yeah. It kind of forces you to systematize, right? It forces
Absolutely.
you to like create mediums of communication that you both can utilize, and then checking in on those is so incredibly key. So I'd love to hear, Rich, you have a great way of communicating with your partner from what I've understood from Jim. Do you want to kind of explain what you've put in place tactically, and what tool you utilize in regard to that communication to keep files organized and kind of being on the same page with people?
Yeah, so we really have two forms. I mean, we have three, I guess. We have our CRM, Sierra, which is great. I mean, they plug in. That's where our day-to-day tasks are on who to send properties to, who to follow up with. We also use Slack, which is basically just like a messenger app, and we have our own. We call it like the pod guys. This is our pod. So we communicate there just like messages. But we use Trello. This is probably the biggest thing we use for communication between like buyers and sellers where they're at. It's free. You can download it. You basically, I don't know if anyone's ever heard of Trello, but you make like boards on there, so we have a buyer board just for buyers. We have a seller board, and then we have like an under contract. We have a 0 to 30 for the buyers. Like they're going to offer 0 to 30 days. And we have like 30 to 90, 90, 180 plus. So different sections, and we have buyers in each of those. And basically the expectation is, hey, if I show Sarah and Kevin a house, I'm going to go to the Trello card and I'm going to put notes in there about how the showing went. So it's not like, hey, how'd the showing go? And I don't have to go to them and be like, how'd the showing? You know what I mean? It just lets them know that we're on the same page and we communicate, effectively. And it just saves us time. So like we'll put notes in there about showings. The expectation is that if they're going to write an offer, like Nick will call me after the showing, then I'll reach out to the listing agent and kind of get the ball rolling with the buyers on how to write the offer. So Trello has been the lifesaver for us just to work, I guess, most effectively, most efficiently, I should say.
I think most of us use it on the team. Like we use the same thing, and we have it there, but we also do like a weekly rundown as well. Just like, okay, like
Yeah.
let's update everything and make sure everything's on track, move the buyers based on where we think they
Yeah.
should be.
Yeah, we do that every Thursday. It's called like the pod pipeline review. So Nick and I will meet every Thursday and we'll go over Trello and basically be like, all right, who out of our buyers is getting under contract this weekend? Like who out of these 6 are going under contract? And basically like go all in on that and just kind of we'll hash out where everything is as well. So we do a similar thing earlier in the week on, I think it's Tuesday, we do like a pending review. So we do a day for pendings, a day for pipeline.
So I know you had a partner and you were working with like I think 4,000 buyers at that time, and literally the whole job was just doing that.
Mm-hmm.
So when the agent's not doing the few tasks that are there, like what else are they doing? Because if they're not showing houses, let's say you don't have a ton of buyers, because I know you have a decent amount of listings business at this point. They're not doing the appraisals, the home inspections. Like when they got nothing to do, what do they do?
Yeah, so the expectation is to grow their business, right? Because I mean, they're going to come in and say 2 different things. They're going to want to be that empire builder, which then it's grow, our business. If they're going to launch up 12, 18 months from now, they got to start making a pipeline. So they need to start outbound dialing, reaching out to Sphere. We're working on scripts. I mean, our desks are right next to each other. So we're like on demand coaching. If like a conversation goes a certain way, or like we hear conversation was like, what, how did that go? You know what I mean? So it's like a lot of on-demand coaching, but the expectation is to be lead generating to gain more business for the group and to further their pipeline.
Nice. So we're still have a little time left. I do want to open it up if anybody else on this wants to ask any questions to Rich.
I'm an open book, so if you have anything.
Rich, can you walk through a little? Oh, go ahead, Ed.
We do it every time, don't we?
I know, we totally do.
Well, I was just going to ask, what's the minimum in a year that you think, do you have a minimum within a year that you want that person to bring business into your micro team?
I mean, the minimum would be 5, really. I think at that, it's almost, it's not quite a break-even operation, but it's close, you know? So that would kind of be the minimum amount. I've had people bring less, I've had people bring more, you know? It all depends on personality too.
Rich, what is your, when you're kind of going to hire this person and then say you kind of find the right person, walk through what the first like 30, 60, 90 days looks like with this person. Like how much are they shadowing you? How much are you training them? How much are you just letting them go out and show? Walk through that a little bit.
Yeah, so the first 30 days we are like one person. Nick's in my backpack the first 30 days. He is going everywhere with me. We're on the car together. We're going on appointments, listing buyers. We're together the first 30 days. And he's really watching me. You know, I'm doing everything. I'm kind of explaining things on why I'm doing it and how I'm saying things. And I'm really just like, I don't know, I'm explaining really everything from start to finish the first 30 days. The next 30 days is more like me watching him a little bit. You know, why don't you take the lead on this showing? Why don't you take the lead on the appraisal, the lead on this, you know, and then kind of coaching him a little bit back on, hey, I noticed, you know, when we were in the console, it got a little weird. Like, why do you think it went that way? And kind of coach on the spot like that. And I would say the day after that, it's kind of, you know, off to the races. Like Nick, we're able to divide and conquer at this point. We do try to do a lot of listings, buyer consults together, as it shows, you know, we're a team and the value of that. And it's hard doing a certain amount of deals being two places. You know, that's the point, is to leverage. So the goal is by like after 60 days we divide and conquer is the goal.
Yeah. Well, and I think you just mentioned it, like you can't be in the same place all the time. But I know you do have the conversation where, you know, letting them know, hey, like this is how Nick is involved. Me and Nick are a team.
Yeah.
So if you're like, I do that with Kim. Like if she goes by herself or I go by myself, we describe exactly what this other person's going to do. So when they jump in, it's not this surprise.
Yeah, I have a nice little handout too that just says meet the team, and it's like me and Nick, and explain what each of us do, and I explain why it's a benefit to the client to have both of us. And usually if he's not there with me, I can explain like right now, Nick is out doing a showing with our clients while I'm here meeting you. You know, I can use a real-time example.
Anybody else have questions, whether it's thinking about building this or challenges you're having if you have built this, or you're deciding whether this is a direction you want to go in for yourself?
What's the minimum amount of production that you think that a single agent should have to justify bringing on a partner?
Yeah, it's hard to tell because everyone's a little different. You know, for me, it was like 40. At that 40 deals a year number, I was my work-life balance wasn't where I wanted to be. I was tired. I didn't have the systems in place. You know what I mean? So for me, it was like 40 was the number I needed. I know agents that do like 60 without a partner, and I'm like, that sounds terrible. I don't know why you'd want to do that, but it all depends. And then there's people that do 20 or 30. You know, it's very different. But for me, I think the tipping point where from a business model financially it makes sense, I think 40 is the number in our market.
Well, and you had so your first full-time year in real estate, you sold 41 homes as an agent on the team, and then you brought on a partner. Do you remember how many you did that second year?
It's 73 my second year with the partner.
So really, like you know, it's hard to say because it was just your second year, but you know, you probably got 50% more business done.
Yeah.
Based on the time that was there. That's what I've kind of seen.
Yeah, I was definitely able to focus more on like client nurtures and sphere, you know, relationships rather than going into a home inspection or something like that. I would say too, it's also a dangerous game to get a partner and misuse the time. So it's not to go to the beach and go hang out, given you should do some of that stuff, but it's really so you can focus more on, you know, dollar producing activities.
I think that's a really key point,
Yeah.
you know, Rich, that you made, because I think so many people think in this industry, okay, I'm gonna reach a certain level of success, and then I'm gonna bring somebody in to provide a little bit of, you know, leverage for me so that I can go nap and I can go to the spa and I can go, you know, do these things. And it's like, Well, that sounds really great. I mean, let's be
Yeah.
honest, it sounds awesome. But the key to making this successful is to utilize the leverage time to actually generate more business, right?
Yeah.
And if you're not specifically generating business, then of course, using some of that time for quality of life, right? Spending time with your kids, spending time with your wife, your spouse.
Yeah.
Hey, Christine Smith.
Hey, how are you?
Great.
I joined the call late, so I'm so sorry if you already answered this question. But how many deals do you think you and your partner are doing together? And how many are you doing on your own a year, like without that partner?
Yeah.
And then what do you think like the capacity is for you and your partner to do together?
Yeah. All good questions. I would say once the partner comes on, we are doing every single deal together. We are touching some point of it together. The point is leverage for me, and that person wants to learn. So if I'm not running them through it, they're not learning anything. So they're really touching everything, and that's how I set it up. There may be something like my brother or something, but like he'll still go do something. I'm just not going to like go to the smoke inspection for my brother. I don't know. So they'll still do it. I think the capacity too for one agent partner and one producing agent is probably like 100 deals. I think you like break that, maybe even a little bit more, 110. I don't know. You're probably up there, 110, 100. I don't know. I think that's like the breaking point where both of you are like, whoa, we need some additional help. I think that was all of it, right, Christine? Okay.
Yeah, actually, the thing I love about that question, we've actually taken it to another level even. So we hit that 120, 130 mark of units with the micro team, and we ended up adding, so somewhere in the middle of that, we added an admin, right? Now you got somebody writing contracts, following up within the micro team, not with the big team. And then we added another showing partner on top of that to keep growing because the deals kept coming. So the beauty in this model is it's scalable, right? And you can continue to scale that up, even being on a normal team, on a regular team or whatever. You still get the leverage from the team. Now you're leveraging the micro team. And for the people out there that want to have an identity, because I hear that all the time in this business, the micro team is the identity at that point. Your name's still relevant, and that's who's selling the real estate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was actually just thinking about the fact that Nick's been in 2 micro teams. So he was on another micro team before, and we had that experience where the person's business actually went down. And really what had happened is the agent had all this free time and they didn't go and use it for lead generation. They used it for like trying to help Nick, which Nick didn't need the help. Nick needed to be the help that helped grow that. So with that being said, so you're not going out on showings quite as much. You're not going, you're not leaving the office as much basically. So like what does your day look like?
Yeah, so I'm pretty consistent with when I come in. Like I'm in the office no later than 9 Monday through Friday, and I'm going through my day-to-day tasks. Really Monday through Friday from like 9 to noon. I'm in here like outbound dialing, texting. I do some for sale by owner calls. Recently been sending like handwritten notes to like listings or neighbors around listings I'm selling. Just doing a lot of that. A lot of it's outbound calls and texts, Facebook messages, DMs, that type of stuff.
So I think what I'm hearing with this is so you're crushing it. You're getting to 30, 40 transactions. You got a decision point. Do you go ahead and say, hey, I'm going to go do all this work. I'm going to make the phone. I'm going to spend my whole job's going to be talking to people. I'm not going to be driving around as much. I'm not going to do all that stuff. Or I just want to keep that stuff and stick with my 30 to 40 deals a year and just be okay.
The flip side too, as a team leader, if you have an agent getting to that number, you almost have a decision too. Like, are you going to coach this agent up, or are they going to get burned out or eventually leave? A lot of agents get to that number and I see leave, go on their own, and their business drops or something happens. Maybe they do just fine. It's hard, but I would say if you're a team leader, definitely encourage agents to take this on.
Well, and I think it's an opportunity, like, I think it's been an opportunity where the way it's structured, you're able to make more money doing
Oh,
this
yeah.
in the pocket.
Yeah.
And I feel like you were talking about me with the team leader thing, because that other partner role where Nick was in, like, I almost like forced that whole partnership to happen, because I was like, oh, you're selling a bunch of houses, you should grow this mini team. And it was actually a big mistake. Like, that person needs to really be, the person growing that needs to actually be part of that decision, and not be just like me as a team lead saying, hey, you're at this point, you're at 40, it's time to grow. You
Yeah.
need to ask
If you
them
want.
questions. What other questions? Anything else, Rachel?
That's what I was going to ask, if anybody else on the call has specific questions about any part of it. Like, I mean, Rich, you've got experience. Obviously, being on a team, I think one of the limiting factors for people who are on a team is, well, that's going to cut into, it's been doing that. Thumbs up, little bubble. It's going to cut into my profit. Like, how do you stay profitable, as a team agent when you're already paying a team split and you're then paying a, salary? So will you speak to that? And if you ever had that hesitation, that mindset that was kind of limiting belief?
Absolutely. That was my biggest thing when I first started. I was like, Jim, what am I doing, man? I can't be paying another salary. What do you mean? I think the way every team is different, and I think just conversations with I look at me and Jim like business partners. Yes, he leads the team, his name's on the door, but he's my business partner. We choose to be in business together. I think just having transparent conversations with your business partner about what it looks like. And I would say sometimes it changes.
I think a lot of people struggle with knowing I get 100%, I get 80%. We talk about commissions all the time. And I mean, what Rachel was just talking about there, you're paying a split to the team. Now you're paying a salary, and a little bit more goes out on the other side.
Yep.
But the question I would have is, are you making more money now than you were when you first came into this business? And is that because of the team, or is that because, what's the reason behind this?
Yeah. Are you asking, or was it like rhetorical?
Well, no, I guess I'm asking you
I am
specifically.
personally, yeah, I'm making way more money than I was before real estate, double or triple before the partner.
Right.
And I think it has to do with the team. It has to do with the leverage. The system's already built. I'm just plugging into it.
So many people come into this business and say, no, I don't want to be on a team. That's a bad idea because my commissions are higher.
But
And what we
told me.
normally see, the highest percentages are the fact that those people don't make any money in this business. Where if they would have had the option to come onto a team, they'd have better training. And I'll take it even one step further. I think showing partner is the best mechanism to learn how to do this business in the industry, hands down.
Yeah.
You get the opportunity to take what Rich knows and put it into this person over here. It gives them the opportunity to start to build a business in a safe way because of that salary, right? And I don't know of a better model out there. Tell me what it is if it's there. I'd love to see it.
Yeah, me too. It's been seeming to work really well on both sides.
Awesome. Yeah, I think the biggest key for, people who are, they're considering this model and have been, an entrepreneur, would be kind of the team leader, or if you are an agent on a team and considering this model, I think it really does come down to accepting and understanding and really having the humility to say, I don't need to be the team leader. I don't need to be an entrepreneur to sit on all this risk and to carry all this weight and to carry all this heaviness.
Yeah.
I'm cool plugging in as an entrepreneur, and I am going to rock this, because I can guarantee you right now, guys, if every team leader out there got 50, whatever, percent of every single one of their deals as running a team, trust. We would run the team even harder, but team leaders do not make the kind of money that a team agent can make, even playing a team split. So yeah, truly, I think accepting, and I believe that 2024 and 2025 are like the years of the emerging intrapreneur. I believe that so many agents in this industry, once they have a little taste of humble pie, will say, yes, I recognize the fact that I am a significantly better intrapreneur than I am an entrepreneur. And us crazies that run this thing and bust our ass all the time and go quarters without profit, we'll stay the entrepreneurs, right? So just want to throw
Well,
that out there.
Eric speaks to that, Rachel, and I know you've heard it 100 times too. If you're thinking about starting a big team, you better do a checkup from the neck up real quick, because it's so much more profitable to just run a micro team than it is ever at running a mega team. I can promise you that. We've got data to show you.
Some of the problems I go to gym with. I don't think you'd want to do it. I say that the stuff I go to gym with, I'm like, wow, I'm so annoying. I don't want anyone to come to me with that stuff. So I'll stay right where I am.
It's like a daily
You have
basis.
to, yeah, you have to really love it. You know, I think like most of us team leaders, at least for me and for Mike, it's like we do it because we genuinely love it. We love seeing people develop. We love being in business with really great people. And so that really does come down to why, like, it's not really about the money, to be totally honest. Because, you know, as we've said, and I've been super honest about before, if Mike and I, if it was all about the money for me and Mike, man, we would have a TC, 2 partners, and it would just be the 2 of us selling houses. Right? That would be the way to make the most money. But we love being in business with people, and we love watching people develop and train and grow and all that kind of stuff. So that really is, like, at the end of the day, why we do it.
I agree 1,000%, because I've looked at that many times. If I were to build it from the beginning, just looking at profit, where would I stop? And that's where I would stop. Because once you get past that point, there's this huge dip before you actually start seeing more profit. And most of the time it's not worth it. I'll be honest. If it's really like, it's got to really be about the people and watching people grow. It cannot be about the money, because you're going to be in for a rude awakening when you have to keep growing and adding expenses to get to that next level, and add expenses to get to that next level. You need to build a stomach. I mean, Rachel talked about, you need to build a stomach going 4, 5, 6 months with no profit, and then just get it, then all of a sudden you're making money for 3 months, 4 months, then you're not profiting. And the end of the year, it works out the same. But as a team agent building a mini team, you've got reasonably stable income. Like, I don't have stable income. Like, I usually go 4 months without a paycheck every year. Usually April to May, I start actually seeing some profit. So it's definitely something where I think you can build a pretty incredible business that makes a really good amount of money. And when you build that team within a team, you also get the opportunity to have somebody that you get to, change their lives. Like, Heath who's on the call, has worked with Rich for a while and has grown immensely. Nick's getting that opportunity now. And the agent that was with him before, is not with the team anymore, but like, they grew a ton in that 18 months. So like, they may not have been a long-term fit, but they had an opportunity to grow in a way that allows them to stay in real estate, which wouldn't have happened otherwise. So we're kind of getting at the end here. So I think you guys said it before too, is, Rich, myself, Ed, Rachel, Mike, if anybody wants to ask questions offline about any of this stuff, we are open books. We'll share with you whatever it is that you need to know. Especially when it's tough. If you're not going down this path right now, you're probably not going to need that conversation. But if you decide to go down the path, we're all here for you.
Yep, absolutely.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Rich. Appreciate your
Thank you, guys.
contribution.
Rich.